Hello everybody. Today I'm going to be working through some power drills using my Anchor Point Unbreakable bands. These are going to be some drills that you can use yourself. You can do them with athletes, elite athletes at any level, older adults, anybody. Yeah, honestly, these are just good ways that we can train the body to move powerfully, move quickly, and yeah, let's get into it. First thing we're gonna do is some belt stride out. So I'm gonna use both double. Like I got two bands here. I'm gonna put both on just for me and these are as you scale it for your client. I'm gonna go with more mid anchor here, so something around hip height. And for these, the main goal in these ones is to get full extension through the hip. And again, this is going to be useful power for anybody, no matter what you're doing. So you can do these alternating sides or one leg at a time. I'll give you a couple demos here. So this is going to be the belted version. So we're going to load it with a little bit of tension here. So I'll start with maybe my left side. I'm going to focus on getting as much extension on this leg as I can, absorbing the energy onto this right foot. Reload. Accelerate. Reload. Accelerate. Reload. Really focusing on getting the push off that first and second metatarsal there on that push leg. Then you can switch. And then if you wanted to add a little bit of like kind of tempo into it, maybe you want to alternate sides, you can add almost like a little bit of a stutter step where you're always staying on the balls of the foot. So you can play with that a little bit there. After that, another version of that stride out to get that full extension would just be bringing the straps up to more of like a harness position. So over each shoulder, like a backpack. Now with this, same idea. Nothing changes with the extension, but the force exerted on the body through the trunk is going to be slightly different. Same thing, load it up, looking on, getting good push off. But again, now it's going to be a little bit tougher. Bringing that resistance up higher, it's going to bring the demand onto my core a lot more. Again, you can do your belt stride outs with the switch. You can do the same leg, whatever it is, get those arm drives into it. Remember, the more full body movements you can put together, the more power you can generate. Lateral stride outs you can do. So you can put the band around the hips for this one, waist, hips, whatever's comfortable for you. Now, a couple different versions of these ones you can do. One I like to get as much power as I can, drive off that inside leg, stride out one, control it in for two. Stride out for one, control it in for two. You can also do kind of like more of like a push, a skater push or a caustic kind of a push where this side stays anchored, where you load out, stride out, bring it back in. Really working on those adductors, hip stabilizers. Stride out, bring it back in. You can work from the strided position where you extend, bring it back, extend, bring it back again, kind of like that skater stride. This one would be more like your just more so stability and absorption of force, and this would be that initial push off. But again, you can add that stride out, 1, 2, and of course do that on both sides. Now we're going to stick with the stride outs. Got one more version I'll show you here. This is going to add the full body kind of work into it here. So we're going to get the handles out on these bad boys here. And just making sure we're going to do a stride out with a press. So this is going to be very similar to like if you're doing like a sled push or something like that. So we're still looking for full extension. A couple different versions you can do. Start with the arms kind of loaded at that 90. And then you can start in this, just working the legs, really working the shoulder stability, really working the core, really putting everything together. You can go with more of the extension on the arms as well as you stride out. Extend out, load up, extend out, load up. So a couple different versions of those you can hit, but again, kind of like your sled push, focus on getting good full extension through that hip. Now, we're going to go into some hinge and row. So now we're going to try to get the posterior chain, get a little more pop on this. We were working a lot of extension, kind of striding away with resistance, pulling us back. Now we're going to work with resistance pulling us forward. So we got to really try to overcome that. So with the hinge and roll, we're going to start with the elbows and hips at center, good grip on the ground to feet, wide collarbones, ribs are down. We're loaded here. From here, I'm going to get a little bit more tension on this. A little bit of a lean, but nothing too like, I don't want you countered way back here. All we're going to do is we're going to let the band kind of pull the arms extended. Now on these ones, you can let the bands go. I don't mind if they go slack a little bit here. That's fine because this is going to work. We're going to hit hard here. I'm going to engage my feet, come back to center, resist that pull up. So we're going to load, come back to center, load, come back to center. So really working on that heel pressure and connecting that foot to core, that reflexive core, and using the glutes and they're using the core well to create that stability. I'll give you kind of a different angle here. Load, come back to center. Load, come back to center. You can work that from a center stance kind of a way here. Really working that single leg stability. You can do one arm pull with that same thing, two legs, whatever it is. That's another good one I like. You can also move the anchor up, and you can do more of like a hinge with a push down. So we're developing more like the pullover or that, just that overhead power. Again, we're going to incorporate the hinge into this. So we're going to start with the hands and hips at center. We're going to let them separate, accelerate back to center. Let them separate, accelerate back to center. The whole goal is to not let the heel pressure change. Using the pelvic floor, the glutes, everything appropriately. Stretch, shorten, bring everything together, meeting in the middle, where there's a lot of force kind of going through the chassis of the body. We can do a little bit of rotation here. Now this one, bring it down, whatever angle or whatever height you want to do for rotations, this is going to change the angle. So I'm good with, I like doing all sorts of heights with the anchor, change it up. So with this, I'm going to take the handle, I'm going to make it more like a baseball bat. You can kind of pinch the fabric around it here. Now from here, I want to really work on getting rotation out of that hip. So a lot of pivots. This is me for like your rotational sports or just honestly anybody. So from here, I'm just going to work kind of like a pal-off position where my arms are extended. I'm going to have a little bit of like kind of like a, I'm going to angle it for golf, but you can play with the hand angle. You can go here, here, here. I'm going to work on my downswing of the golf here. So from here, and you can just go one palm up, one palm down. That just keeps it nice and comfy. From here, I'm going to work the pivot on the left leg. And I'm just trying to make sure my torso stays solid and follows the rotational force that I'm generating with that hip. So it's not about creating a whip with the upper body. It's about making sure the pivot leads that force. Then from there, you can bring it down to your neutral. Same thing, chopping across. You can change the angle of the handle. You can go baseball style here, but again, it's all led off of that rotation through the hip. And then you can go with your lower anchor as well. Same thing. Now you're pulling up, but you are working on developing that power transfer from hip to torso without having a lot of extra movement through the spine, losing a lot of the force and energy. Now this would just be your a harness low anchor jump. This is just nothing ground breaking or earth shattering about this. This is just pulling you back to the ground while you try to leave the ground. And you can do this with 2 feet. You do this kind of with a split squat. The bilateral, you're trying to working on containing that landing. Drive up, drive up, drive up. So I'm really working on resisting that pull back. Trying to load it, pull the floor towards you, pull it against you. Pull it towards you, push it away. Pull it towards you, push it away. That split, really working on using that front glute to absorb. That back leg's kind of like that kickstand. Whew. But that's about it. Put some of those into your power routines for yourself, your athletes, or just your gen pop. Oh, I'm sweating. That's some good stuff. All right, have fun.